Thanks for joining us. America's highways are littered with hazards. Drunk drivers, bad drivers, treacherous weather. But there's another terror on the road. Serial killers working as long-haul truckers. There have been hundreds of murders along our interstates, many attributed to drivers of massive 18-wheelers. But as a recent arrest shows, law enforcement never gives up on these cases.
For Warren Luther Alexander, once a fugitive from justice, the day of reckoning in Ventura County has finally arrived.
It took 4 decades, but he is now cuffed and shackled. A serial killer who police say murdered 3 women in California, and they suspect possibly more. Warren Alexander worked as a long-haul trucker, driving what some have come to call a mobile crime scene.
They're grabbing a victim in one police jurisdiction, they're raping and or murdering her in a second jurisdiction, and they're dumping the remains in a third.
Retired FBI Assistant Director Frank Figluzzi explored the horrifying scenario in Long Haul, hunting the highway serial killers. He admits only a small fraction of truckers are killers, but a few have murdered so prolifically that the FBI has a unit called the Highway Serial Killing Initiative.
We're talking about 850 murders of women alongside the nation's highways, mostly sex-trafficked women in just the last few decades, 450 suspects, long-haul truckers, being looked at right now by the FBI. And of those 850 cases, 200 are considered open and unsolved. That's despite the fact that 25 long-haul truckers are already in prison for multiple homicides.
Figluzzi wrote 2,000 miles across the country in a big rig to study those numbers. One of the questions he explored: does the trucking industry attract serial killers, or do the isolated and lonely hours create serial killers?
I don't think people sign up to kill. I think they realize they now are in a scenario that allows them to kill unfettered. The mindset of this person is isolated, hermit-like. I'm a misanthrope. I kind of hate people. And so what better job than to seek out the job that lets you be who you are, right? And then once they're in that job and they realize, my God, this is a perfect situation, I can kill at will and dump the body in some of the remotest parts of our country and beyond my way before anybody understands what's happened.
That's what authorities say Warren Alexander did, strangling 3 women in the space of 7 months in 1977. All 3 were commercial sex workers, vulnerable victims along America's truck routes.
Rodriguez was found with a ligature around her neck. The autopsy determined her death was caused by strangulation.
Officers found that Sanchez had a ligature tied around her neck, and the autopsy later revealed that she died of strangulation.
Officers located the body of Kimberly Fritz. An autopsy revealed her death was a result of strangulation.
Though investigators collected DNA from all 3 crime scenes, the cases eventually went cold. But last year, with the benefit of advances in DNA technology, finally a hit.
Detectives with the cold case unit on behalf of the Ventura County Sheriff's Department uploaded crucial DNA evidence into that nationwide DNA database. And in this case, a match occurred. Specifically, a match to Warren Luther Alexander.
Alexander was already in custody, his DNA in the system from a 1992 murder conviction in North Carolina. The former trucker was extradited to California on 3 counts of first-degree murder, but Alexander is just the latest in a long line of cross-country truckers committing unthinkable crimes. Rarely do victims escape.
I asked him 3 questions. I said, "Are you going to kill me?" He said, "No, I'm just going to rape you."
Abbey Pimentel is one of the lucky ones. The single mother of 2 girls had the misfortune of crossing paths with long-haul trucker and serial rapist Roy Nellsch.
I said, "How long are you going to keep me for?" He said, "A few days." And I said, "Are you taking me somewhere scary?" And he said, "No, I'm going to keep you right here in the truck with me. I'm taking you somewhere isolated." At that point, I knew, get out of here as fast as you can, because all I could picture was myself in a creek somewhere.
It happened at 10 in the morning in Oak Grove, Kentucky. After Abbey ran out of gas, the trucker pulled over, offering to take her to a station. Against Abbey's better judgment, she jumped in. Then he drove past the exit.
I said, "Thank you for your time. I don't need your help anymore. Please pull over, let me out." And he did. He pulled over. I thought he was letting me out, but I looked down and grabbed my purse, and I looked up at him, and he had a gun pointed at me and said, "This is a kidnapping. I'm going to rape you. Get in the back of the truck."
The 240-pound trucker handcuffed Abbey, threw a blanket over her, and started driving. Pumped with adrenaline and thinking of her children, the 100-pound Army veteran managed to uncuff one hand and throw the blanket over Roy's head, all as they barreled down the highway at full speed.
All I cared about was getting out of the situation. The last thing I wanted was for that man to get anywhere physical toward me at all. I grabbed that steering wheel. I didn't care.
Abbey fought until Nellsch pulled the massive rig over. She managed to escape and flag down a driver who called 911. Nellsch was arrested within the hour. The terrifying tools of his violence were found in the truck: the gun, handcuffs, and a rope. But during Nellsch's interrogation, he claimed Abbey was trying to rob him.
Give me your money, I'm gonna tell you right. You're crazy, get out of my truck. You come on around.
Roy Nellsch died before he could be prosecuted. Abbey felt cheated.
I wanted the chance to just face him and just say, why? What happened to you to make you do this to people?
Just because a case has gone cold does not mean it should ever be forgotten.
Now, with advanced DNA technology, cold cases are more likely to be solved. Warren Alexander was living a quiet, antisocial life in Mississippi until the law caught up with him. One trucker who will soon face a jury, and one final drive to justice.
Arizona police need your help solving a case that made national headlines. Baby Gabriel, an infant kidnapped by his own mother and never found. She only served 5 years in connection with this case. She's now free, but still, nobody knows if baby Gabriel is dead or alive.
Within one short year, Tempe, Arizona resident Logan McQuarrie experienced the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. The highs started with the birth of his son, Gabriel.
I loved him, just picked him up and kind of stared at him and just held him for a long time.
He was a beautiful baby, adored by Grandma. In reality, little Gabriel's life was anything but perfect. Logan says the baby's young mom, Elizabeth Johnson, had trouble handling the pressures of motherhood.
Whenever he would cry, she would go in the other room and leave him in a different room so she didn't have to hear it.
According to Logan, it wasn't just that. He says her behavior became erratic and extremely troubling.
All my socks were cut in half, my boxers, pants, all of them were cut up, my shirts, all the shoes I had, all the tongues were cut out of my shoes and the shoelaces cut in half.
Logan says back when Elizabeth learned that she was pregnant, she didn't want the baby and later suggested giving him up for adoption. Logan was against that plan. The couple soon separated and ended up sharing custody. But one December morning, everything went sideways when Logan went to pick up his son.
No answer at the door. Looked in the windows, all the dresser drawers were open, there was no clothes in them, and the clothes were gone out of the closet.
It appeared mother and son had vanished into the night.
She was gone. I didn't know where she went.
She's a single mom, she'd have a baby, she's not gonna run. We'll get this all worked out. And she ran.
Determined to find his son, Logan goes to the police, who say their hands are tied until he locates Elizabeth. Then, 8 excruciating days after Gabriel vanished, Logan gets a mysterious text from a strange number. It reads, "You will never find me. I'm already boarding a plane out of the country. When I'm safe, I'll email you the exact location of dead Gabriel's little blue body, if the garbage don't come first." A frantic Logan dials the number. Incredibly, Elizabeth picks up the phone. He can hardly believe her words.
Where are you? Where's Gabriel?
I didn't know if I wanted to believe it or not. It scared the crap out of me.
Logan learns that Elizabeth was seen traveling with the baby to San Antonio, Texas, a place where she didn't know anybody. From there, she boarded a bus to Florida, all without her baby. She's later arrested in Miami, initially charged with kidnapping. But once in custody, Elizabeth changes the story she told Logan, telling police baby Gabriel is not dead, but alive and well, and in the care of a San Antonio couple she claims to have met through an underground adoption agency. Was baby Gabriel dead or alive? Only one person knew, and she wasn't saying. Her own words are chilling.
You did not hurt Gabriel.
Seemingly and casually admitting to murder.
Where are you? Where's Gabriel?
The baby's father, Logan McQuarrie, decides to take matters into his own hands. He heads to San Antonio with his cousin in hopes of locating baby Gabriel.
We were at a gas station and we went inside, and the girl that was working there remembered Elizabeth. So people were saying to us, yeah, I remember when she was in here, she came in to buy, crackers, or, she paid for some gas and had her son with her.
But where is baby Gabriel now? No one knows. San Antonio investigators feverishly search for a body and tragically come up empty. When Elizabeth arrives in Florida, she is charged with kidnapping and custodial interference, but not murder, since the baby's body has not been found. As she awaits trial, an explosive bombshell drops about baby Gabriel. Detectives learn Elizabeth tried to sell him to a Tempe, Arizona couple without notifying the baby's father. The adoption never actually happens, but the would-be adoptive mother is charged and found guilty of conspiracy to commit custodial interference and forgery. At trial, the woman admits she helped Elizabeth fill out paperwork related to the attempted adoption. While Elizabeth was facing a possible 27-year sentence for kidnapping and other charges, the other woman served just 30 days. Elizabeth was so infuriated she wrote this scathing letter to the judge. "I'm sorry, but I can't accept how lightly you sentenced Tammy Smith. 30 days in jail, 3 years probation. How could you? Are you mad, blind, deaf, dense? Perhaps not the best way to get a judge on your side." Despite never revealing where baby Gabriel could be found, when Elizabeth gets her day in court, a jury fails to reach a verdict on the most serious charge, kidnapping, though they do find her guilty of unlawful imprisonment, a lesser charge. Elizabeth was sentenced to 5 years and later released early on good behavior. Elizabeth was out, but ended up back in. Despite a new look and even a new name, calling herself JoJo, internet sleuths were onto her. After she took a trip out of state and failed to notify authorities she'd gotten married, someone notified authorities and she was arrested. This time, she only served 20 days on a probation violation.
She had nothing to say to the media. Take a look at this. She was covering her face with a brown bag, not answering any questions, and then got into a taxi and left, and that was it.
I think it's unbelievable that she can just go and hand off her baby to anybody she wants and then just go and live her daily life like nothing ever happened.
Recently, JoJo again changed her name, calling herself Elizabeth Martinez. Then, citing stalker harassment, she changed yet again, this time to Naomi Aragon. Despite her many names, the real Elizabeth Johnson is reportedly living in New Mexico, the mother of a 3-year-old girl. Now, Logan McCreary, Gabriel's father, has tried to move on too. He has a new partner and 3 kids, but that doesn't stop him from wondering what really happened to baby Gabriel.
Both my sons would love to meet him and, just start a life with him.
I look forward to Gabriel coming home. Who wouldn't want another kid in their life? Sorry.
Baby Gabriel has never been found, and only Elizabeth knows the truth.